My name is Bautista. I live on. Thank you so much. Oh, it's easy. I live on 4th and Grand. I've been up in pedestrian safety as a advocate in the city of Hoboken for a long time, for many years, and mainly it's because when it comes to pedestrian safety, we're all in this together. We're all on the same boat. Everybody's a pedestrian, no matter what mode of transportation you take. You start walking out of your home. You start crossing a street and intersection. And also because I have a mom. She's 65 years old. She has to walk all over Hoboken because of work, because of entertainment, to come visit my daughter. And she could make a mistake, and making a mistake crossing the street shouldn't be something that could cost your life or that could incapacitate you as well. I have a wife that when she was pregnant, she had many close calls. Drivers were not stopping. When she now is pushing the stroller, she's also come across many drivers that when she's crossing the street, the way that the street is designed has allowed for many drivers to come very close to her and the baby. And so my daughter now is 6 months, and I did what I had to do. I joined the Hoboken Mommy's Facebook group because I needed help. And just this past few days, there were a lot of comments. Somebody just needed to vent out about their frustration and how close a car had come to this mom and her children. And then that thread just kept on growing. It was more than 100 comments. And I just wanted to share with you some of those comments that were made by some of these moms. Courtney Loudon says that the four-way stops aren't even safe. 11th Street from Washington to Willow in the morning is chaos. Alex Torres said, I dropped my kids in 2 different schools and the speed the cars come down in the intersections is crazy. 1st and Jefferson, 1st and Adams, 4th and Jefferson. Eileen McCurk, she said, seeing it as a pedestrian but also seeing it a lot as a driver around town. There are certain stop signs in town that seem to be mere suggestions for people. For example, 4th Street at Willow, 4th Street at Clinton, and 1st and Jackson. Julie Brooks says, 9th and Monroe, I pick up my daughter at the learning experience and hold my breath at the Monroe Center when trying to cross intersection every day. She called it the Monroe Highway because of how fast cars go down on that route. Laura Keys, she said, we were almost hit at Madison and 2nd when a young male driver was in his phone and went straight through a stop sign there without even slowing down. A mother even said that she has 2 disabled children, and because of how long she was taking and putting them into a bus, a car was really pressuring and was being very aggressive, a driver. And she had to yell back that she had children with disabilities. So there's a lot of miscomprehension, and this is not to put blame on the drivers. This is not to put blame on the pedestrians, because we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes on the street no matter what we say. Even if we want to follow the rules, sometimes you make a mistake. I mean, it's proven that, for example, many times pedestrians have to step closer into the street in order for drivers to actually stop, or they're just going to keep going because they have to go. So these are all mothers, and we must think of our streets and how they serve our constituents, the most vulnerable ones that we have. And having a cop in every of the 270 plus intersections in Hoboken it's not feasible. It's not sustainable. The cost would take over the city budget. Enforcement can only do so much. And Chief Ferrante, I do want to talk that he mentioned that the #1 summons issued in Hoboken is for failure to stop. So that means that enforcement can only go so far as to discourage people, but that's not how we can actually do it. I think that we can make our streets safer so that drivers slow down, because the biggest enemy of pedestrians is the speed of cars. At 20 miles per hour, most pedestrians survive. At 30, most pedestrians don't. And so let's start working around our schools and our parks. It's proven that narrow streets, 10.5 feet at most, slow down cars. It's proven that curb extensions, expanding the corners, bumpouts, also as they're called, they also slow down cars because of the space that is reduced, so the drivers will slow down. And speed bumps before reaching intersections are important. So I ask you to please explore more options. Call in the engineers. Let's figure out based on those objectives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mary Andreka?